Well, my role is when we were so crowded that we had to do something. We had our facility. We had 2 extra houses that we wanted. If we made parking lot out of that area, so we haven't any parking, we didn't have enough room to park. So we decided we should move to a new location. And we had several meetings, and some was in favor and some wasn't. But eventually we started looking around and made some plans, and that was when we moved to the new area.
What was your role in that, in the building of it?
Well, that construction has been my trade all my life. I started out to be a carpenter, and then I went into the plumbing and heating, and I've worked at my whole life. So there's a lot of plumbing and heating in there, and they needed somebody to do it, cheap. When we started that chapel, we didn't have it. We had enough money, but selling the other, we had enough money that we could buy some property, put a new one on, but we didn't, and then it'd go a ways on, because we had to buy everything new out there. So we decided we'd have to just go that route. So that's what we done, and we actually started with a general contractor, and after about 2 weeks, he wasn't getting our building up. So Mr. Hildebrand and myself, we said this won't get the job done. So we ended up, they wanted me to stay in superintendent, but I couldn't. For the company I work for, I had a lot of other responsibilities. So we finally talked to Ed Hildebrand to take the job as superintendent. And then from there, he and I just worked with the people that done it, except the plumbing and the heating and air conditioning. We done it all ourselves.
Okay. I'm going to change one thing here. And I was going to move some of this. Let me move your arm up here real quick, and then just kind of push that out of the way so that kind of stays there. Perfect. Excellent. Yeah, that's a lot of work. So how long did it take from the beginning of groundbreaking? How long did it take for you guys to get the church up and going?
I'm going to say about 5 months. Yeah, about 5 or 6 months.
Okay. Then how many people were involved in getting the building built?
Well, I would say besides the men in the congregation, and we had one other supervision besides Mr. Hildebrand. He actually answered to me and Ed both, but I'd say the rest of it we just contracted to other people, like the concrete but all the foundations we put in ourselves, and all the backfilling and all that, and then after that was in, I got the hot water heat in all in, and plumbing had been in from the very start of the building, so it just worked out well.
Great. Let's see. You talked about this a little bit already, but tell me about the motivation for the move. What was the motivation to move from the old building to Strat, the new one?
I'd say there was probably. You mean how many people?
No.
What was the motivation behind in moving from the building on Prospect Avenue?
We had to have more room. We had more people when we get in.
Do you know about how many people you guys had at that time?
I'd say maybe we had 115.
How many people did you, when you built the new building, was there kind of a number that you were thinking this new building will hold?
The new auditorium will seat 231 people, and then we have what back then the back second floor could be seating too, so we could get away about 180 or 90 or 280 or 90.
area, beautiful building. As you think back about that time of building the church and doing all the work for it, in what ways do you remember, what ways did you see God bless that effort?
Oh, I think He blessed every bit of it, because it just came together wonderful.
Do you have an example of that?
Huh?
Do you have an example of that, of how things kind of came together?
I didn't. What do you?
What did make it come together?
Well, you know, everything went smooth because with Mr. Hildebrand out there all day long, and I was working for the people I worked for full time. Then after work, I'd go out there, and we'd usually work till 9 or 10 o'clock, and during that time, a few people came out and worked with us, but you know, Ed and I done it. You know, I'd say Ed spent a lot more hours than anybody else. It's actually been said that Ed Hildebrand and me, we thought we owned the building because we'd built it, but that's not right. We didn't want to own the building.
Great. How has God used the ministry of Stratford Park in your life? Just through your, as you look back on your life through your ministry with the church, in what ways has God used the church to minister in your life?
Oh, I you know, he leads us all the time, and you know, there's so many things that we just take for example, and I've told several people this. We've had the best people in the world during the time I've gone to the chapel, and what a privilege to know them and to work with them. And you talk about Dr. Jensen and some of those people, they were fabulous.
Everybody that could was willing to help, and they did help in the way they could.
Yeah, we had people doing things that wouldn't even be out there, but it would still work in the whole plan. And
A friend of his, for instance.
it went. Actually, what I did for the mechanical, the outfit I worked for, I just wrote an order to do that work, just like I was doing it for my company. And all my material and all my charges went through my company, and then the company would build the chapel, and we got a break, and man, they paid a ton of, just give us so much stuff.
So I'd say that's a big blessing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was there a time when you were building that chapel, when you were putting it all together, that you just realized, was there one specific instance that you realized, hey, God's hand is in this?
Oh, I knew it all the time.
Was there one or two things that you can remember that happened that when they happened, it happened right at the right time, and you just knew that?
Well, I knew one night for sure, because Mr. Hildebrand and myself, we were carrying some big, actually they were the vents off of the boilers, and they were made out of heavy steel, welded up. We were carrying them up stepladder, and we got to the top of it, and his stepladder started crawling out from under him, and I thought we was going, and he did too. So I said, Dad, just give me the load, and you get your ladder straightened out. And that would have got us down, but he took care of us.
Awesome.
And I saw it more places than that. That's pretty high up on that roof in places. But to my knowledge, we didn't have anybody that got hurt on the job at all. So, you know, somebody got to be looking after us.
You know, when you go by the church and you see that building and you think, man, I had to help.
Oh, yeah.
How does that make you feel when you drive by that church these days?
Makes me feel good. Makes me feel good. Fact of the business is, after that building was built, I did most of the maintenance on it, and in the winter time, before I came home from work, I'd go by and check the chapel. I had a big interest.
I think it was John Garrett that told me that you used to go and sleep.
I've gone out there and slept. Yeah. Yeah. When I was getting the heat online, I started on a Friday evening, and I didn't come home till Sunday because I had to get it on because it was cold enough it would freeze, and we'd never had any water in the pipe other than just test with air, and so I had to stay. And I was out there all night. I was out there all night, 2 nights, I believe, that time.
We're sure to appreciate it.
Yeah, well, you got to do what you got to do.
Well, that's the questions I had, Mr. Krutsinger. Is there anything else that you want to say or add about the 50th anniversary at Strat or about the church? Anything about what the Lord's done?
No, I'm proud of what we got done, and I'm thankful for it. And I'd love to go out there, but I'm not able to on that Sunday. But
I think that bothers him more than anything, that he can't go anymore.
it bothers me.
He said that.
I never go by there except to look. Always look. Sometimes I stop.
If you had a message for the church family at Stratford, what would that be?
I'd say just look to the Lord and try to get the people in and get them saved, and that's what we're out there for. To meet the need of people, and that's all we work with is people. Yeah, it's a real privilege to have been involved in it. And like I say, everything went so smooth, and the Lord had to be leading it.
Guys, thank you so much. Thank you so much. This was fantastic.
Has that been helpful?
No, it's been wonderful. Are you kidding me?